So I'm look like I'm talking to myself.
But you live though. Let me
Okay, I'm
get to
live
share.
now. I'm live.
Yes,
Oh, I see the
yes, ma'am.
live. Okay, well, hey, happy Sunday, everybody. I know it's been a little minute. There is a lot going on in my life, and clearly in the city of Flint. I want to say happy Sunday, and it is a beautiful day. I do want to say if any of you that are on here, please click like and share. Click like and share, and I need to do the same thing. Um, you know what, Mickey? I'm so tired of hearing sirens. I've been hearing sirens all day. So for
Uh,
those of you who are on here, um, I want to say thanks to Mickey. Mickey is the tech, the engineer guy. He is handling everything. And Mickey, I got to get on here to share. So this has been a hectic Monday. I mean Sunday. I'm feeling like it's Monday already.
right, right, right.
So I want to tell everyone, let's click like and share. We're gonna get into some things today. Um, it's a lot going on in the city of Flint, and a lot has been going on with this city council. And so I'm gonna get down to some actual some facts. You know what's going on. What is the big issues that we've been going over and facing? What is the elephant in the room? What is people are saying the monkey in the room? What is the gorilla in the room? How did we get to where we're at to where this council cannot function? Where we had 4 meetings in 2 weeks, nothing was done. Nothing was able to be completed. So that was a problem because the city business was not being done. Some people would lead you to believe that the problem was um, they called Burns, Mays, and Jerry Winfrey Carter. That's just simply not true. It's not true. When we look at the breakdown of what happened, with the city of Flint, and why things aren't working. Why are we having so many issues? And there are a lot of issues. There are a lot. So I'm gonna get down. I'm gonna get down to it and talk about it. So if you're on here, click like and share. And then also, say a prayer for the shooting victim or victims today around 1 o'clock. There was a shooting on Ballinger and Sloan. So if you were at the Ballinger and Flushing area, that was blocked off for probably about 3 or 4 hours as the police did an investigation of yet another shooting. People will lead you to believe that homicides are down. But guess what? Shootings are up. I don't even know if homicides are down anymore. We should not be breaking records. Those are not the type of records we should be wanting to break in the city of Flint. So prayers for the victim and the family, uh, where the shooting was. But Mickey, we gonna hop right into it, because I don't want to. It's Sunday and it's pretty outside, so we're gonna work kind of, I guess, working backwards, Mickey. Um,
Yeah.
Big thing people were talking about. We had to remove uh, Councilwoman Liddell Lewis from chairing. I don't even know who this is, but I got to take it. Hold on, this is a this is my council phone. I'm sorry, y'all.
I'll mute you. I unmuted you back.
You know what, Mickey?
Yes, ma'am.
Another call. Hold on a second.
I'll mute you again.
Hey, now we can look. The city's gonna answer 24/7 because
Yes, ma'am.
resident. That's my job, and it's been a lot going on, and people are concerned. I say that shooting that happened today, people were concerned at. So I want to get back to how do we arrive at? They say the monkey in the room, the elephant in the room, the gorilla in the room, removing Councilwoman Liddell Lewis from her seat, so that from chairing. Uh, how did we arrive to that point? So we're going to work backwards before we put up the videos. It is no secret that there is a point of contention with me and Councilwoman Lewis. One, because when she's chairing, she's not a fair chair. She does not chair fairly, not just with me, but with many of my colleagues. So when we look at the issues and how they've come across, people have heard about the Cyrus Park checks, the $1,500 check that she got from Ashley Capital. People have also heard about the $50,000 ARPA application that comes to find out. She changed her 501c3 the past 2 weeks. She took herself off as the director. So there's been a lot of things that are going on. I'm going to put the proof up so we can talk about it. So was there an elephant in the room at that meeting? Absolutely. Did this council have confidence to let her continue to lead this council with us not getting meetings done? Zero confidence. Zero. One, her ethics was a problem. Her ethics in regards to, she didn't disclose she took a $1,500 check and then voted yes to give Ashley Capital a $72 million tax abatement. $72 million tax abatement. That was a problem. She didn't disclose it. She didn't tell us. She didn't tell us that she put in for ARPA funds for her nonprofit, which was Cyrus Park, that she originated. We found out that meeting. I asked Judy, who was the finance chair at the time. I said, Judy, did you know? Because there was the ad hoc committee. Our ad hoc committee had two people on it, Judy Priestley and Liddell Lewis. Judy stated she did not know Liddell put in for $50,000 for her Cyrus Park. And when we first went to vote on it, Liddell Lewis had missed 2 prior meetings. So 2 prior meetings. And so the one where we were supposed to vote on it for Cyrus Park, she was not there. Because if she was there, she would have to have told us, I can't vote on it. I have to recuse myself. I have to abstain on it because that's, that is the nonprofit that's mine that I originated in 2021. And we're going to put up the documents. But I'm going to start speaking to her temperament. Her temperament. She has problems with many people on that council. Many people on that council. And you don't have to take my word. So when people say, but she just doesn't like her, I don't just dislike anybody. I'm not going to protect if Councilman Pfeiffer I felt was wrong and referring to her as a monkey in the room, I wouldn't protect him. That's not what I do. If you rob a bank, don't rob it with Tonya Burns because I'm not trying to go to jail. Orange is not my color. So we're going to speak to her temperament and how she goes off. People don't see this during meetings. They don't see it. How she protects Eva Worthing. There's a different treatment. She won't give her warnings. Eva Worthing has called the Black women on city council ghetto. She referred to audience members, the Black audience members, as a cult. A cult. She used the term ghetto, and she doesn't mind using microaggressions. She has called people on that city council narcissistic assholes. She's called Councilman Mays one. She's called me one in front of Attorney Cups. She called Dennis Pfeiffer narcissistic asshole. And then she called him asshole, and she called him a D-I-Z-K. She has a little filthy mouth. She cusses all the time. That's not the part that everyone hears. You don't hear that part, but we're trying to get through our agendas. And those are things that slow up our agendas. Even when meetings are over, and we're going to put up the video where a meeting was over. And she just wanted to, Liddell just wanted to have an argument. So Mickey, let's, and we're going to start going down and to show the temperament. Because when you're chairing, the role of the chair is always to be fair, keep everyone in the meeting, and make sure the meeting flows. The rules are not to be a stickler, but they are a guideline. They're a guideline, so that's our framework to make sure we stay within. Some of the rules we have to change because they just don't make sense. I did not vote on those rules, and people call them the goofy rules because those rules don't work. They didn't even know that they had changed the time and didn't address them to having 3 minutes to 2 minutes. So did residents have a wrap up? Did they have 2 minutes or 3 minutes? So when you got people who are working together to silence certain people, you hurt the whole body as a whole. You do. So when we talk about people politics, all 9 of us have politics in different, politic in a different way. And we deal with our residents and our ward in a different way. But what we're supposed to do is come together to get work done. We were not able to get any work done or to complete meetings. They would even just get up and adjourn meetings and walk away, hit the gavel and leave. Sometimes they just wouldn't show up. And that's not good leadership. Now, when you set out to put people out of meeting, that's not what we're supposed to do. So when she's making statements, and one of the most hurting statements, she came on my page after one of her friends called my daughter a monkey, put a picture up of my daughter and her husband and called them monkeys. Now, she assumed she was called a monkey. It was very clear my daughter was called a monkey. And she made a statement on my comment. She didn't say, hey, Tonya Burns, this should never happen. Children should not be, put in this, whether they're minors or adults. She didn't say that. She didn't say it because she's not sorry. She's not sorry. She's not empathetic to it. Not at all. If her child, someone has always said something about a child, that's off limits. Whether your children are minors or adults, kids are off limits. My daughter is not in the political field. Not at all. And these little pictures were traveling around. I had to call her up and tell her when she got off from work and let her know, hey, this is what's going on. It's no secret my daughter is married to a white man. So what? She's happy. And you know what? I love him. I don't care no matter what color he is. It's not about color. She has a wonderful marriage. And when you bring up people's children, you put the wedding pictures up. And then she tries to say, well, I don't have any association. The person that she shares it with, Linda Pendleton, which is a fake page, she shares those videos and comments all the time, knowingly it's a fake page. And then she tries to put a disclaimer. Liddell Lewis is a nasty person. I'm saying she's a nasty person. You don't agree with someone and share someone's post who put up comments and call people monkeys and call their children monkeys. You don't do that. You can't say I'm going to throw a rock and hide my hands and say, it's in a hostile work environment. Liddell Lewis creates the hostile work environment. She creates it. She's a very passive aggressive person. And most of us don't talk about, we want to get through the meetings. And it's difficult sometimes. It's difficult to how she chair. She complains that Councilman Mays gives her points of orders all the time. Every time I talk, her and Eva Worthen point of order me a request for information every single time. It's on video. And they tag team. That's what they do. So I'm going to put up to show what her problem is. She had to be directed from an officer to be quiet, to stop it. After a meeting, she decided she was enraged because she was defending, once again, something she was completely wrong about, Eva Worthing. Her defending Eva Worthing has put herself in this position. And this video, she's defending something and had the wrong meeting that she was even talking about. Didn't even know. She literally wanted to fight. Literally. Mickey, please put that video up because it's time we put some truth out here. You know what? Yeah, I thank you, Jerry. Thank you, Jerry. Thank you, Jerry. Thank you. She don't know me. I know you live in Maryland, and I know your people. So girl, bye. So that's what. No. You know what, Liddell? Whatever your problem is, you can. No, I'm telling you the truth. So anyway. Come on, let's go. Let's get out of here. So we talk about in this meeting, she was defending Eva Worthing, saying I put her out. I didn't put her out that meeting, and she had it incorrect. So when the meeting was over, she decided she was coming up to me. Tonya Burns, you know what? Tonya Burns, you know what's up? Girl, where are we at? So when she talks about a hostile work environment, Officer Davis had to come to tell her, Liddell, be quiet. Liddell, stop. Liddell, stop talking. Liddell, shut up. She didn't stop until she got the fourth directive from the Flint police officer to be quiet because she was out of control, defending Eva Worthing. And for a situation that actually she had the wrong meeting in reference to. Never apologized. Never said, hey, I was wrong. Never said that. That meeting I was cheering. I just got back from North Carolina from a funeral. the day before, not even the day before. I had been home maybe 4 or 5 hours. And so this combativeness with her, she will go after you. Best believe that she will go after you. So it's not just whatever her issue is with Councilman Mays. She's come after me. She comes after Jerry Winfrey Carter. If you don't fall in line with her, she will come after you. So Mickey, let's go to number 2. And we talk about, things that are happening in this community. We have had so much come out this past month. She will portray herself as this victim, this community, that she cares about so much, this community that she loves. She threw out our last meeting, her own second ward resident, who was there to ask for ARPA funds, Ms. Dora Mayfield, put her out. Ms. Mayfield's ceiling had fallen in, and she'd been trying to get in contact with her council person. She put her out the meeting and had her escorted out by the police. She uses the Flint police and weaponizes them against the residents. Miss Mayfield is on the walker. She put her out. So when we talk about what she loves this community, when she was in Maryland, we're gonna put up the video of what she had just, I believe, lost the race in Maryland because we didn't have an election at this time.
I got you.
And put that video up, Mickey, where what she said. These are in her words.
You didn't vote in Flint, Michigan. You just didn't vote. And this song is dedicated to you and yours. Put your hands together. Yeah. Put your hands together. Yeah. If you didn't vote, you janky. You janky. You janky. Your kids gonna be janky. Janky. Cause you didn't vote, your kids gonna be janky. Just janky. Yo people, just janky. Yo schools, janky. Yo taxes, janky. Yo water, just janky. Didn't go vote, you janky. You janky. One more time. If you didn't go vote, you janky. You janky. Player, you janky. That's for you. So if you in Flint sipping on bottled water as you watch this video, you janky. And I'm just gonna leave that there. Ba-da-da-da-da, janky.
Mickey, we know that the service lines are still not fixed in Flint. At no point should a video ever been made you sipping on bottled water. Now, she was in reference saying people didn't vote. Many of the people, I think it was about 20% voted, another 80% didn't vote. But some of them constituents are in your ward. The number one reason why people say they don't vote is, 1, they don't believe and trust politicians. 2, they don't feel that it is a person worth voting for. They just don't. And so when we talk about how do you create trust, you called 80% of the people in the city of Flint janky. 80% of the people in Flint she called janky. Why you sipping on bottled water? So we speaking to her temperament because she's speaking to others. And I'm gonna show you how she flips this story all the time. She will flip a script on you. So when we talk about different treatment, I get warnings all the time. We had one meeting, Councilman Mays had like 8 or I quit counting, like 8 or 9. I received, I think, 4 because her goal is to get you out. She's a very vindictive person. I didn't even know what I was getting the warning for. Councilwoman Winfrey Carter's gotten the warning. She was putting her out of a meeting because she said, "What are you looking at me?" That's a warning. That's a warning. She abuses her power as the chair. I have stated she rules like a dictator. I have stated she rules like a tyrant. And I mean that because if you can't address the person who's chairing and how they're not chairing fairly. And that is the main role of the chair, to chair the meeting fair, to make sure you keep the meeting flowing and make sure you remain impartial to keep the members in the meeting. She didn't do that, and she hasn't done that. It's been so difficult this past year. So yes, our problem is enormous. It's gigantic. It's huge. Because when you go there and people say, how do you feel? Literally after the meetings the next day, I have PTSD. If anything, I ask for request information. Ms. Burns, that's a warning. That's a warning. You know, if you ask any point of information, a request information is a quick inquiry, which means you're asking a quick question. Every point of information, I get a warning. So I can't ask questions in a meeting she's chairing. No questions to be asked because she wants to get me out the meeting. See, because she is a bully. She will not, she bullies people, and she makes it and sets the tone to her. It's a problem. And she tag teams with Eva. When Eva called Black people ghetto, she stated on record, on video, she was not offended. She was not offended by the microaggression term when Eva Worthing called Black people ghetto, referred to us as ghetto. She wasn't offended. She said it. She said she wasn't talking to me. I wasn't offended. That didn't bother me. Okay. You Black. And in case you didn't know, you have to check the black box. You know, you got to be careful with that. You know, so well, let's go on to the other one. We talk about the different treatment. There was a letter that came from attorney Katina Irvin in California. Attorney Katina Irvin, and her letter is so long to read. She spoke to the unfairness that Councilwoman Lewis has when chairing. She spoke to the lack of fairness in chairing that we just won't get. And so when you try to appeal to her, it just doesn't get it. And I tried to keep rapport with Councilwoman Lewis until the point where she did tell me, her and I were having a conversation, and she told me that Councilman Mays called her a mother effing B. She said, he called me mother effing B. I said, are you serious? She says, yes. I said, well, I'm going to address it because we can't just have sidebars like that, because I wanted to, let's censure him because he shouldn't be talking to any other council person like that. So we get in the council meeting, and before we get in the council meeting, well, she says, the cameraman heard it, and it was the person for 5 and 12. And then she told me Judy Priestley heard it. So I asked the cameraman and the journalist for 5 and 12. They said, Tonya, I didn't hear that. I didn't hear that. I asked Judy, did she hear it? And Judy says, no, I never heard that. I didn't hear that. So we get in the meeting. So I put it on the floor, and I've said it numerous times. I said it, I think, again in the last meeting. I says, Liddell, I asked you who heard it because you told me these people who heard it. Her story changed. She says, well, I thought someone told me that he said. I said, well, who was the someone that told you that he called your mother F and B? Because if you're referring to him, he's saying you a mother F and B. I said, I don't believe you would allow anybody to talk to you like that. I just couldn't see Councilman Mays or anybody else calling her that and her keeping that to herself. I just could not see that. So when we're in the meeting, and I said, Liddell, and the camera people are there. I said, you said that he called your mother F and B. I talked to the cameraman, the journalist. I said, and Judy, they said he didn't say it. I said, you had me ready to go off on Councilman Mays to correct him because there should have been corrective action. There should have been. She lied on him. He did not call her a mother F and B. We've addressed this on the council. So when you try to steer people's emotions for someone to dislike you or hate you, and you create such an awful term, one of the worst things that people say is to call the Black woman a B. And she said Councilman Mays called her a mother F and B. He did not. He did not. She never said after I addressed it in council, and I've addressed it several times, because at that time, it was like, okay, you know what? Her decision-making process and her hate for Mays, which no, they don't get along. I had to separate myself because it was very volatile, very volatile. And so there's a different treatment that she gives because she's now the chair. Our council is split. It's split. I think we may be sometimes 4-4, 5-4, it all depends. But I know when Judy voted to remove her, we were not able to get any work done for over 2 weeks. So when we talk about a different treatment, because I've addressed it, put that video up for me, Mickey, please.
I got you. Finna line it up right now for you. Give me 1 second. Hold on, let me redo it. Cancel. Let me put it back up for you. There we go. Let me load it up. Oh, hold on, my bad. There we go. Let me play.
Different treatment. You did not. Miss Worthing just yelled out and corrected herself that she called him a narcissistic a-hole. She didn't say the a-hole, but she said narcissistic because she's done it to many people. You did not warn her. You did not warn her. You did not call her out of order. You said nothing to her. Nothing. And so the behavior and the treatment is different. It's different. If you're going to punish one, punish the other. I mean, she calls out all the time. You do not discipline her as the chair. You do not. She's even told you before she had she knew she was wrong. Go ahead and give me the warning. And you did not give her the warning. You are part of the problem with creating a hostile work environment because you allow her behavior to continue to escalate. And that's a problem. When people say other people are baiting, I'm here to do my job. We all want to get through this. The role of the chair is to keep everyone in the meeting. You wait at least 3 times every single time before you answer Councilman Mays. 3 times. You will dig in that cup, take a sip. You purposely ignore him. And it's saying, and you do it every time. The role of the chair is to be impartial. Keep everyone in the meeting. You're not impartial. And there again, you did not rule her to be out of order or give her a warning. It's acceptable. It's acceptable. You let her run all over you. And that shouldn't be happening. And y'all wanted her to run all over me. If I let it or allow it, y'all want me just to be quiet about her behavior. People taking pictures of me, putting it up on social media with the hate crime, want to hang me as a Black woman. She done hopped out her seat on 5-3 and on 7-19 twice. You haven't said anything. Y'all ever discipline her? Not ever. But then you go to her aid. This treatment has to be the same. If we're wrong, then you discipline everyone. And see, this is where the problem is. Do you want the votes to pass what you want that bad to where your integrity and character is going to be judged? It is sad that we are at this point. And how do we get to we talk about the removal from chair for her. This is part of the reason why. I'm going to read the letter that Attorney Katina Irvin, a portion of it. Says, Miss Lewis, I watched the Flint City Council meeting you chaired on May 8th, and I am completely abhorred by your lack of leadership, fairness, and most of all, courage. I have been watching several of the meetings and have tried to give you the benefit of the doubt. However, during this meeting, your abject hypocrisy was so profound that it required a suspension of disbelief. What's so offensive is you are shameless about your pandering and lack of sense of fair play. You are doing a great disservice to your colleagues, constituents, and community. In particular, Council Member Eva Worthing made a disrespectful and offensive remark to then audience member Mr. Woodson, and thereby effectively engaged in argumentative discourse in violation of Flint City Council Rule 27.2, adopted on 2/27/2023. However, you failed to issue Ms. Worthing a warning, consistent with the standards set forth in your governing rules, as well as your general course of conduct towards members of council. Notwithstanding, Ms. Worthing indicated that she was willing to accept the warning, you still failed to render appropriate action by issuing the warning. It's worth It's worth observing that Ms. Worthing all but admitted she was wrong and stated that it was worth it. I was so appalled that I had to discontinue watching. So I'm not sure if you ever issued her a warning or not. Instead, you continued to facilitate and then attempted to justify Ms. Worthing's admitted wrongdoing by stating that Mr. Woodson made a disrespectful comment towards you by referring to you as a clown. Your justification falls short given the fact that the rule explicitly states that argumentative discourse by council members towards the audience is not allowed for any reason. The operative phrase here is for any reason. Further, Councilman Dennis Pfeiffer attempted to be a voice of reason and appealed to your sense of fair-mindedness by stating that despite what may have been said by Mr. Woodson, council members have a higher duty to act with decorum. This is my exact sentiment as council members. You are in a position of leadership which imposes a higher duty as you are governing and leading your constituent. As the saying goes, too much is given, much is required. So as she goes on in this letter, and she is an attorney, a well-renowned attorney in Los Angeles who was watching and sent her this information because she doesn't have a sense of fair play. You know, when you're there, it is a difficult situation. You know, I've had Councilman either Worthing stand up not once, but twice over me because they have gotten into this clique that, you know, we're going to beat you down. You know, it is hostile for me, and I've always stated, but it was interesting to hear her say that she now works, it's in a hostile work environment. Not buying it because she's been a part of creating one for me. On 5/3, she stood up and wanted to fight. Eva Worthing did. She did it again on 7/19. I stayed in my seat the first time. I promised that I'd give it to my mother to make sure that I remain classy and remain and act like a lady. But when someone's standing up and inciting violence, I never got out of my seat. Now she had to come a little bit closer because there were still two people in between. And she stood up. And matter of fact, she stood up twice during that one and stomped her feet and said, "Get over here." My colleagues didn't support me in that, not at all. But you don't have to believe me. We're going to put up the video from 5/3 and 7/19. Mickey, can you put the video up, please?
Yes, give me 1 second. I'm going to put it. I got it for you right now. Let me do this real quick.
You're missing my point, Ms. Burns.
Absolutely.
Go ahead. And you're interrupting. And again, as I said last time, you are unprofessional.
And
I'm done, Madam Chair.
Good, because you know what? This is not going to be your day. I'm going to let you know that.
Oh, it's not your
It's
day.
not
No,
your
you
day. What you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Get about that seat. You got what you need. Get over it. She's out here. Warn her. And she needs to be right. Put her up. All you need
That's her second one. That's her second one, man.
She needs to have her.
Eric did that, and you gave it 2 more. No, she should have had a warning. She should have had a warning. You told her to be quiet. For real, man. And then y'all hate when somebody say something about black and white. Oh my God, man. That's bullshit.
You allowed that.
Right.
I'm not talking to you because you need to bring this council together. So don't sit up there talking to your present to me. Don't do that. You have an even better one. You need to be putting her out. If I stood up, it would have been, there would be a confrontation. No, when she walked towards me, I felt threatened. Now, what if she stepped towards me and I did something? That was your fault. You're right.
So you gave Eric 2 warnings when he kept on doing that. That was wrong, Judy. See? That was wrong.
Even
See?
what was the threat, liar? What was the threat?
Somebody go get the ambusman woman.
What you do is lie. I threatened her. I don't make threats.
Look, you got full.
Whatever I say.
They done divided up. You got the 4 blacks up there, and then you got the 4 whites back there. That was some bullshit.
So that meeting got heated because redlining, because I was speaking up for the people, and the majority of the people who have got blue tarps on their roofs and redlining, that people can't and don't have insurance, because insurance in many of the zip codes in the city of Flint, you can't get, or it's so high, you can't get it. We were determining, it was trying to get to the part when we talk about affording roofs and how do you get insurance. And Eva Worthing was stating, well, it's not her fault that people can't get insurance. And she said, what is redlining? Redlining didn't exist. Redlining does exist. And because I was speaking up for the people and the residents who, number one, ARPA funds we're supposed to be helping to get them roofs, making sure they get this money, which that's a whole nother issue with that ARPA ad hoc committee that I'll get into later. I will get into that later. So I didn't get out my seat to show, number one, there's a different treatment. There is a different treatment on that council. She didn't get censured. She didn't get put out. She didn't get 30 days. She got mad because she didn't know what redlining was. She didn't want to hear about redlining and Black people and poor people who didn't have roofs, who needed help and assistance. She got mad because I was defending and sticking up for those who have a very real need in our community. So go to the second, because it happened again. Mickey put up the second one, where she decided to get up out of her seat a second time, because now she's comfortable. The climate has been created. You can get out your seat at council and do whatever you want. It has been established.
It's tiring to do this day in and out, and that's why Allie laughed. Why is that funny? Why do you think she laughed?
She said she didn't like you.
Well,
There was a video. Remember that?
that's the thing,
I'm sorry, ma'am. It's out of order. So, but you
and this is exactly
point of information, point of order.
This is so unprofessional.
It is. And you're taking it there. You're taking it there.
No, I'm not.
My point of order is this. Do you hear this? Why, as the chair, you're not stopping this before it escalates?
Absolutely, because it's
Why?
Go ahead, Ms. Worthing. Thank you. I'm not sure.
All of the digs, and I'm not finished with my point of order. All of the digs that she's doing, and you're not going to stop it?
Which point is? This isn't a point of order. This is a monologue.
What are you doing? You need to leave.
leave.
You probably need to leave.
What is this? Intimidation? Like staring at me? I'm not intimidated. We know that you won't get out of here.
5 minutes, he says. Yeah, because you know what? You might need that. I'm out my damn seat. I'm out of my seat. Own up to what you said. Oh, I swear. You're right. No, let me tell you, I'm sick of you. You're not here for the president. You're a racist. You're a habitual pathological liar. And Allie left, she didn't like you. She stated it on record. She didn't like you. All day. She said thank you all day. Look at you. See? You're carrying this attitude. With that little country man on your face. You can't fake her all year. Don't even pay no attention to her. God bless her. You work for yourself. If you sit here and let her say all of those things, because she didn't do that. No one mentions you. You're not allowed to do that.
You guys feel other people.
I didn't pay her, Judy, because she could have paid her all night long she was doing this. All night long.
finna break that switch up. I'm hoping to be recalled. We gonna see to that. Y'all quick for 4, 5, 6 months. Make a TV Negro. All black folks, all black folks,
So when people say, hey, the whole council should go, I completely get it when they say it. But how do you sit in your seat and you don't say anything? It has literally become a Game of Thrones. You know, I'm simply, when you're trying to do your job, you find the people who are supposed to get the money. And as we found out, it's council people making sure they're getting this ARPA money. They are getting checks that surprised me. So Mickey, let's put up the Ashley Capital checks.
Hold on 1 second. Let me get them for you. I got you. 1 second. I got you. 1 second. Here we go. They should be on there. Yep, they right there.
So Ashley Capital, which is a great investment on the Buick site. Ashley Capital gave to 3 of our council people. Councilman Mays, $1,050 to his campaign, and he did report his and disclosed it. They gave $11,000 lawnmower for Councilman Murphy, and they gave a $1,500 check to Cyrus Park Neighborhood Association, which is the nonprofit that is for Liddell Lewis. And she is, at this time, she was the director. They did not disclose this. They did not disclose it. And there should be another one like a Nikki where it shows all the donations. And it's like a list. I think I have them in red highlighted.
Hold on 1 second.
So how I found out about the donations, we are Metropolitan Church. And I was sitting there with Papa Jared, AC Dumas, Arthur Woodson, and we're all sitting there. And so Susan and Mark come around and I say, hey, I have a question for you. Did you donate to any other council people? And she says, oh, yeah, Tanya, sure. We do. Is it something that you need?
I got you.
We gave $11,000. We bought a lawnmower for Quincy Murphy. Mark, did we ordered that? Is it in yet? And then we gave to Liddell for her Halloween program that she has in the park. And yep, that one. And so we gave to that. And I said, oh, okay. She said, is it something that you need, Tanya? And so Papa Jared said, well, what kind of lawnmower did you? He said, what was about, 10,000 around that much? And Papa Jared said, well, that's got to be the Bentley of the lawnmowers. That's that X-Mark. I had never heard of an X-Mark until then. So, and it's a bad boy lawnmower. So they send me the next day, Ashley Capital, because they asked me, did you want it? I said, no. Because one thing, you keep your hands off the money so it's not a conflict of interest. If it's something that you're taking, you need to disclose it. They did not disclose this. So they gave Habitat for Humanity $11,000, which they wrote to the check that was up there for the lawnmower for Quincy. So they stated that, that was through Habitat. Habitat released a statement that they do not own that lawnmower, that it is in the possession of Quincy Murphy. They gave that statement in the article to Ron Funger. Cyrus Park Neighborhood Association, they gave $1,500 to. The Cyrus Park Neighborhood Association is an association that nonprofit was started by Liddell Lewis. They gave the Flint Boys and Girls Club crossover. They gave $4,750 to individual households. They gave clothing, gifts, food, cards to 45 people. That went to Quincy Murphy, that $4,750. They gave $2,000 to Mayor Sheldon Neely, and then another $1,000 to him July 2023. And Dennis Pfeiffer had stated it was 3 days before. So Dennis Pfeiffer has been talking about this, so they're coming after him. They're coming after him because I'm talking about it. He's talking about it. Mays is talking about it, and Winfrey Carter is talking about it. And they really are going to, going at us, because the cat's out the bag now. So with the Ashley Capital, when they gave those funds, they weren't disclosed. They didn't tell us. No, we didn't know. And when they showed up, what I'm saying, when the check showed up, we asked for a legal opinion, which I think the legal opinion is being challenged now. Attorney Kim gave a legal opinion, said that they accepted it wasn't anything illegal. The question was posed that, so if any of us get a nonprofit, so I think Pfeiffer stated, well, if I get a nonprofit, then anybody that the city is doing business with, they can donate to my nonprofit. So they were circumventing the system by using a nonprofit. The Flint City Charter is very clear. You cannot accept donations or gifts. We have a code of ethics. The ethics states that you cannot do it. So it's very specific. So when you're saying, well, it went through a nonprofit, it's not a loophole. We don't have to go any further than you cannot accept donations or gifts with business doing business or seeking to do business with council or with the city. You can't do it. So when Councilman Pfeiffer raised the question, well, what if I get a nonprofit? And my nonprofit, everything on here, let's say some of these businesses, they can give me money if they put it through my nonprofit, and it's okay, according to your legal opinion. Then the question was posed because the $4,750, and I asked Attorney Kim, I said, you did not state, I said, would you look at your opinion differently if you knew of the $4,750 that was given to Councilman Murphy for gifts and etc.? He didn't really have a question. We didn't have a lot of time because our time limits are short. So when we're asking him these questions, and my other question was, if they had come to you, Attorney Kim, beforehand and asked you, should I take money or gifts or donations or campaign contributions, or these are gifts is what they're doing. Should I take it? And we're about to take a $72 million tax abatement, because that's what was up. A $72 million tax abatement, which was up to be voted on. And so, Mickey, I'm going to show you the YouTube of Councilman Pfeiffer. He did not vote on it. He said he would vote on it if Councilwoman Lewis and Councilman Murphy did not vote on it. He would vote for Ashley Capital if they refrained from voting. They stated they were not going to refrain from voting, even though they had received $11,000 check, $4,750 in gifts, and $1,500 in a check to Cyrus Park, which is Liddell Lewis's nonprofit. So Mickey, the one that's going to be like the second one from the bottom, I believe. I'm going to tell you where it's at, because how they came through. Right above the first StreamYard. I think it's the first StreamYard that you sent to me. And it's a TikTok. And that TikTok is where Councilman Pfeiffer was asking them to not vote. Do you see it? Mickey?
I had my phone, I had it muted. Hold on, let me get back to it. You said the second one, right? This one, Pfeiffer.
Yeah, Pfeiffer calls out Murphy
that
and
ain't
Lewis.
it. Okay, you said, well, Pfeiffer. It's after the stream, the first one I sent you?
Yep, it's right above it.
Right above it. Okay. Oh, I got you. There we go. Let me go and set this play up for you, Tony. Let me end this one right here. Let me stop that. Let me come back to it. I got you. One.
out Ashley Capital, Mr. Murphy and Ms. Lewis.
I believe that through whatever happened, members of this council and payments made by Ashley Capital, their CEO, and the PAC to members of this council tainted this vote. So it is my opinion that certain members should abstain from this vote. I've said that on the record, and I'm saying it again. I believe that if we go down that road of certain members can solicit funds to their nonprofit, to a profit that's their fiduciary, we're going down a slippery and muddy road. And I will not be a part of that. So if my colleagues do not abstain and they vote yes to approve this, I will abstain because I will not be part of that vote. However, with my support of this vote and the good that this will do to the community, if they abstain, I will vote to approve. But I will not approve if they don't sustain or they don't abstain from the vote. So I think with every vote, there's pros and cons, and you have to look at the whole project and the good and the bad of what it would happen if it does get approved, if it doesn't get approved, what are the implications? And I've looked at all of that, and that's where the conclusion I've come to, that it's a good project, but I will not vote for it if my conscience will not let me sleep at night, knowing that I participated and approved something that is very questionable in my opinion. I'm not saying it's illegal. There's an ethical duty that we have. And if this is the hill I gotta die on, this is the hill I gotta die on, because I know the wrath that'll come at me if I do vote for it or I don't vote for it. But at the end of the night, I gotta live with myself. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Clark. Ms. Worthy.
So was it a difficult decision? I personally feel my colleagues were not operating with clean hands. Do I feel that they may, in my opinion, bribery or, you pay to play? Yeah, I do. Because why wouldn't they share that with everybody? I mean, you disclose, hey, Attorney Kim, can I, ask the question beforehand and get a legal opinion? If that legal opinion was asked beforehand, I bet they wouldn't have taken the money. They wouldn't have. I didn't take money. Pfeiffer didn't take money. Jerry and Ricardo didn't take money. So we look at it, everyone didn't disclose it. Put it on your, disclose it. We had no idea. I had no idea when I was told by the people with Ashley Capital. So, and people know, and because of the time, I won't put up let's put up Mickey. I want to put up the Laura one because I want to show people. And the Laura one is.
Hold on 1 second. Let me get right to it. I'm going to get to it before you said the Laura.
Because there's a few things that are drawn to this. So the Laura one, which she's winning and changed now.
Okay, let me find that joker right there. That's the one I gotta find. Oh,
So
this it right? Okay, yep, I got you.
Okay. So
it's been a minute, time we ain't been together.
I know. I got a lot going on.
I see you sent the whole kitchen sink today.
I know, and I was trying, and I consolidated some of this actually. So
yes,
this is the Laura. This is the shows the nonprofit, and it states the date of origination 8/2/2021. It states Liddell Lewis, and then it states the president Liddell Lewis, treasurer Deshelle McDonald, secretary Shayla Williams, that's her husband, director Liddell Lewis, director Shayla Williams, director Deshelle McDonald. And so her and her husband were holding most of those positions. So Liddell was the director and the president of Cyrus Park. So that's going to take us to our resolutions. Mickey, did I send you the resolutions? I did. I know I did.
Hold on one
So
second.
ARPA funds. While you, it's, and I'll go into the. I know I sent it to you.
I'm finna find it. I kicked myself out of there.
So it goes to. Yeah, I sent them to you. Resolution 230323.
Yeah, I'm looking for it.
Right below the checks.
Oh, okay. Even better. Thank you. I got you. I can work faster that way.
Right below the checks. I tried to make some of it a little bit easier.
Yes, ma'am. I got you though. I had kicked myself out though. That's what it happened. Oh, here we go. We got action.
Okay. So this one states to be determined. So this was the second time ARPA funds. I've made no secret. I do not and did not support the ARPA fund advisory committee, not because these weren't good people, but because we had nothing to do with them being selected. So when it came to the fact that Councilwoman Priestley just stated at our last meeting, Judy stated that the ad hoc, that the administration had been keeping them in the dark is the ad hoc committee, not her. Basically, because Liddell knew a lot more because this on here is her to be determined second ward 50,000. That's hers. Judy said that it may be time to take this administration to court. They had been kept in the dark and they were being secretive. Judy stated this on record. This administration was being secretive and the mayor was keeping them in the dark. So you see right here, and that's the second one. Cyrus Park was that to be determined. We didn't know she had put in for ARPA funds. Did not know Liddell Lewis put in for ARPA funds $50,000. So I asked Judy on the record, did you know that she had put in for ARPA funds? And she said, Tonya, I'm just now learning of this right now. So when we first found out about it, and this is the second resolution, let's put up, Mickey, the first one. I think it's highlighted. It's got red in it, and it's going to, is it red?
Hold on, give me 1 second. Let me get to it. Let's get to it.
Okay, this one is going to be, in that group. No, you probably can you scan through them?
Yeah, I'm finna scan through them right now.
Because it's in that group.
It's in that group.
So when we found out she put in it for the first time, she went back and applied a second time and took the name off Cyrus Park. Okay, go down right there.
This
yeah.
One.
Can you blow that up?
You know I am.
So this was the first one where it says Cyrus Park Improvement, Second Ward. I didn't know she had put in for Cyrus Park. Cyrus Park is her nonprofit with her and her husband on it. Liddell is the president. Liddell is the director. I didn't know she put in. None of us knew she put in for it. And Judy said, Tonya, I did not know she had put in for that. It's on the record. It's on the video of the council meeting. So then we come back for the next meeting, which is within maybe like within a week. She puts up, and can you go back to the other one? See, Cyrus Park name is on this one. Pay attention.
Let me get that. I got you.
Come back next week to try to slip it through again and put to be determined. Now she's the vice president of the council. We don't have a president. She's leading us. She is over the council. Now anything she's supposed to be our representative. So look at this right here. To be determined. Where they handing out checks to be determined at? How do you know to give somebody some money that's to be determined? This is as shiesty and shady as you can get. So we find out the first time, then she take the name off. And not only did she take the name off, she went into the system, the LARA system, and changed and took herself off as the director. Took herself and her husband off. So she knew if you weren't doing anything, you operating, with clean hands, why you go in and take it off? You went in and took off the director and the president, took yourself off after we discovered, the council discovered that you had put in for $50,000 of ARPA money. This is now like ARPA gate. And then you change the law part. Then you change the name. You take the name off to slip it through with the administration to be determined. And Judy says, Tonya, this is too much. She says, I didn't know. So council members are upset, rightly so. Rightly so. Because you know who hasn't getting any of that money? Not one roof has been fixed. No furnaces have been fixed. Residents not getting nothing. So here it is. We got council members got $1,500, $11,000 lawnmower, $4,750 for $4,750 for miscellaneous gifts and items that was dropped off at the counseling office. Well, charter said you can't take gifts for businesses, doing business or seeking to do business. Like, okay. So this was one of the, people say the term elephant in the room. People say there's a term gorilla in the room. So this is one of the issues. So she's upset. So she decides, she's going to get back at me. And I'm like, you better come with something else. So she puts up on her Facebook page, because this is the council stuff. So she puts up on her Facebook page. Can you put the one up with me, Jerry Winfrey Carter, and Councilman Mays?
I got you. Give me 1 second. Let me get up in there. I'm wearing them. Come back. I got you. Oh, here we go. Then we got action. Miss Barnes.
Okay. So she puts and she states, this is Liddell Lewis post. According to the 6th Ward post defining gifts, it appears that these fancy personalized lintel shirts qualify. Were they more than $25? Question mark. Can you represent the city and the law firm in litigation with the city at the same time? Is this affecting their votes? Vote on what? Is this why they are not willing to give the resident ARPA dollars? Looks like they are more loyal to lintel than the residents of Flint. Okay. I'm like, first of all, I paid for my shirt. It was the event, the Northern Tailgate. I paid for my Mott Fest shirt, my purple one, my turquoise one. I pay for my shirt. I'm not out soliciting checks for anybody or gifts like they did. I don't do that. Nice try, but not a good one. So then she sends up, because she's not done, because she's a messy, messy, messy person. So then she decides during the meeting, Doug Matthews comes up and, I'm going to turn you into the ethics board, and I'm demanding that you show the city attorney and you show me, I want to see your receipt, and it's criminal. You should be removed. Doug, bye. Goodbye, Doug. Have several seats. So she puts up a post again because she's busy. She is busy. So
ready for it?
Yeah, but it's the one that she put up on her page where she put, I know how we sent some of them in. After Doug. So Doug makes his comment. So I get up during this. So after he finishes with public speaking, I get up out of my seat. Normally I don't accommodate people that are racist. I don't, and make racist comments and stereotype, I don't do that. Which he made a whole inflammatory 3-minute speech, and he timed it to the T. And all of his wrongness. And so when he made that, I got up, I took my iPad in one hand. I got up, I put the receipt up. I first showed the city attorney, and then I showed Doug, and I was out in the audience. So as I'm out in the audience, she's chairing the meeting. She's so worried about what I'm doing instead of chairing her meeting. Now, if you carrying something, I got one hand, and I'm talking to Doug. And she said, Mrs. Burns, I'm issuing you a warning. I'm not even at the council. I'm in the audience talking, which is not breaking the rule. We don't have to stay in our seat. I'm not her damn child. So no, she can't chair. She has no business chairing. So she decides to start an argument with me as I'm showing Doug requested to see the receipt. But what they thought was I didn't have one. They thought I didn't pay for my shirt. I pay for all my shirts. I do it all the time. So she thought she had me. You took a $1,500 check and then you put in not once, but twice to get a $50,000 payout from the ARPA funds when you didn't take care of your residents. So I'm out there and I'm talking, and she put her finger in his face. Ms. Burns, that's a warning. I'm issuing you a warning. So we can't conduct any business. Why? She gave me warnings and May's warning and Winfrey Carter warnings. She has a whole meeting to now. She can't never hear Eva cussing people out, talking all sorts of crazy, 5-6 chairs down. But somehow she can hear almost at the back of the council chambers, me having a statement with Doug. Doug was flabbergasted. You know why? He thought I didn't have the receipt. I showed it to him. He asked for it. I produced it and I showed it to the city attorney. So then, because she's messy, she goes and put the post up with the purple. Mickey, is this post? I don't know if you can see. It's got the purple where it states.
I'm gonna find it for you.
You know, and here it is. If you're chairing the meeting, how you know what I'm doing out there? You know, we can talk. I don't have to be quiet, walk to my seat. That is not a rule. I'm not your child. And see, that's
we got action.
She is drunk with power. She is drunk with power. So she states on here, she makes this post. My job as council chair is to uphold the rules. Under no circumstances are we to argue with the residents. Unfortunately, Councilperson Burns violated this by exiting her seat and aggressively addressing Mr. Matthews. This behavior is unacceptable, and according to the council rules. Unfortunately, Councilman Pfeiffer, Burns, and Winfrey Carter broke quorum to avoid her being reprimanded. Flint deserves better. Yeah, Flint does. So Dale, you need to get your carpet bag and behind and go back to Maryland. We're tired of your nonsense. I'm tired of you. So then she gets into a whole dialogue with Linda Pauley. Attorney Linda Pauley says, Douglas, she put her fingers in her face, your face. And Linda Pauley, yes. Yes, Linda. She stood over me and wagged her perfectly manicured finger. She was really angry, and I had to ask her to move away. I actually like Miss Burns outside the council. I find her very personable and easy to talk to. I've also heard a lot of good things about Miss Winfrey Carter, being caring and responsive to people. But in my opinion, they have a conflict here, and they have done harm to the city. See, he didn't thought I had the receipt. I came with receipts, Doug. And by the way, my fingernails were not perfectly manicured. I hadn't had a feeling in 5 weeks. But see, the perception that he's trying to make paint this picture of me. And then she makes, she made this whole little post up, the council rule, that we can't be arguing. We're not arguing with him. Now, a person right across from where Doug was sitting, I didn't even know the person. He was watching, and he made a post, and I don't even know his name. And I'm gonna try to find his. He stated that basically that just was not true. It was not true what she had stated. His name is Jawan. Was it Jawan Jackson? I think.
Yep, that's him.
Yeah. And I didn't know he had. It's not like he was doing me a favor because I didn't know him. I appreciate him for telling the truth. That I do. Because, when they get out here and they start telling these falsehoods or lies, and she was clearly making up one. Where is his? So I'll be looking for that, but I'm gonna move on. But he stated that no, he stood right across the seat, right across the aisle, and that Miss Burns was not yelling. I didn't raise my voice. That when she made the comment, then I was telling her, you can't give me no warning because I'm out here showing him the receipt. I mean, so her little game was just kind of broken up. She was kind of, found out, in other words, but she keeps stuff going and creates stuff. And she tries to change and steer the narrative of the public. She's making sure she paints certain people in a negative light. And that's what she does. That man asked for my receipt to my shirt. And I actually, went out to show it to him because I didn't have anything to hide. I had nothing to hide whatsoever. And as Mr. Juwan Jackson stated, she was not arguing with the gentleman. That's not what happened. So when we get to what were they upset about? That $50,000 twice she put it in for her own personal nonprofit, that $1,500 check, and when we talk about how she goes after people in unfair treatment, it's every single day. She keeps meeting. She does that. She has no problem coming after us. Put up with it. I'm gonna move past that. Now, if Juwan is listening, thank you for stepping in the gap and telling the truth, with what happened, because the truth was not being told. And thank you for sitting there. He never told me, and I read it underneath Doug Matthews' post, is what I end up seeing it up under. And I wagged my perfectly fingered manicure. It's like stop it. Well, the response that I appreciated, and I'm gonna read this one. It was sent to me from Dr. Padrani at Wayne State. He made a response to Doug Matthews. And I appreciate Dr. Padrani because he's a professor, instructor at Wayne State University. And he filled in the gap. Sometimes God will send you people to fill in the gap for you. This is Dr. Padrani's response to Doug Matthews with his, I don't know if he liked me or not, but my perfectly manicured fingernail, but then he likes me outside of council. So he says, Doug Matthews, you are a white man who speaks about the need for reparations and the value of critical race theory, stated a presumptuous, a false one about the purported criminal action of an elected Black woman by a majority Black electorate. As your primary point upon which all your further comments follow, this woman showed you the receipt and pointed to the receipt. You then elicited the trope of an out-of-control Black woman, a deeply racist one, which has served white supremacists and violent ends for centuries. You played the role of the victim of a Black woman's aggression when you were in every way the white male empowered aggressor, accusing a Black woman of crimes with no evidence. Then when you received accolades from those who wished to discredit her, you failed to mention that she was coming to show you the receipt, not to physically attack you. Your actions represent everything that reparations and critical race theory work to be a cure for. You are like so many academics who claim to be pained by our centuries-long history of psychic and actual violence toward Black people, but in precisely the opposite way in a public episode like this. Will you stick to the adulation of your fans for trotting out a demonstrably counterfactual presumption, or will you make reparations for your actions? I have not received an apology for Doug Matthews at all. Doug Matthews is friends with Liddell, He is friends with her. His partner works for Mayor Neely. Jerry works for Mayor Neely's campaign. And he's friends with Mayor Neely's secretary, Tommy Johnson. So, when you try to weave it together, it's easy to weave. So we look at all these dynamics because they bring all this personal stuff. You bring somebody up there to tell a whole lie for 3 minutes, and he said he timed it. And then when he was wrong, he couldn't pull it back to apologize. So when you get people who get upset and how do we move forward? We can't move forward with her leadership. We just can't. When someone plays the victim, she's a very passive aggressive person. She'll send people after you. And she sent that Linda person who put my daughter's picture up and called her monkey after, me. I'm gonna hurt her child. It's a nasty person. Then she said, well, I don't have anything to do with her. Every screenshot she'd have made, liked, communicated on there, I have them. So she's been communicating with her for a very long time, over a year, as a matter of fact. So when we get to how do we get to the monkey in the room, and he didn't, and he was saying, I'm not going to speak for him, because what we're going to do is I'm going to play the not that one. I sent the video, didn't I? And it's at the minute and 40-minute mark. Mickey, you muted.
Hold on 1 second. I was trying to find the video. I kind of got lost with the video.
Yeah, that's the Flint City Council one at 9.
18.
Yeah. And then take it to 1
I
hour.
got it.
Okay. Well,
How long you say take it to what now?
1 hour and 40 minutes.
Got you. See how we work together? It's been a long time. Just give me a
I
second.
know, Mickey, but this was a lot of work.
I know, because you got me over here crying.
I know. Listen, I can't be waiting this long no more before I do. It's too much going on.
Yes, ma'am. Don't worry about it. We got it, though. Oh, at the 140, I got it already set up for you. Let me end this and do it. I got to bring it back. Crap. Here we go. Here we go right here. Let me get this together for you. Here we go. Get this together. We got action.
All right.
You ready? All right, let me start it for you. Let me get this thing going for you.
Plain and simple.
Hello, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
Request information. Through you to the speaker, you take the elephant in the room.
Yes. I know anything. I'm trying to portray that I'm willing and trying to move the city of Flint forward. And it's obvious that your hate towards your colleagues is stopping progress. Plain and simple. Your hate towards everybody. Even your demeanor in your last speech was so condescending. And so my shit don't stink attitude that it's appalling. It's appalling. And Dr. Lewis, I don't have anything against you. I don't, honestly don't. We've had what, 3 or 4 conversations period in the year and a half, 2 years. But when you stop the city of the Flint business by the way that you rule, and the colleague in the 9th ward to do no wrong, and you want to rule the colleague in the 6th, 7th ward, the 6th ward, for pointing her finger, and you definitely do not hear what she's saying. So you're going to rule her out of order and give her a warning the last meeting, and then ask for evidence? That's not the way it rolls. You're ruling because of hate, and that's the only way to rule.
She got hate.
That's it. Thank you.
You back.
Okay. So as we can see, and people are going to have their own opinions. Now, you had some people who would definitely, but Mickey, there's one that's 2 from the bottom, because I want to speak to what he was just saying, her behavior beforehand. And it's a TikTok 2 from, it's between 2, I think at 10:29 a.m. and 11:10. And it is the one, I think it's the one on the top. No, not that one. Because it speaks to when you ask her a question, she's not going to you don't get an answer. Or she was doing her head, and I'm like, okay. You know,
I was trying to talk to you. You said which one it is?
Let me go back up.
Is it before the 810 ones or
Yeah, it is this one, because when he was speaking to what her demeanor was beforehand, right before then, Councilman Pfeiffer was called a slithering snake by Candace. She did call him a slithering snake. and her finger was pointed over there. And I know my fingers were pointed, but her finger was pointed over there. And Liddell said nothing. And
I gotta find that one.
but that did happen. I mean, if you friends were you can do no wrong, and they all vote the same. They try to say Tonya Burns vote with Mays all the time, and no, Mays is not wrong all the time. It has nothing to do with that. I vote for what's right. You know, when I chaired, I think I put Mays out 5 times. Mays will challenge you, and that's just what it is. I don't take it personal. I don't take it personal.
Oh, okay, which one you said again was when Mays was calling out? I mean, not Mays, but Pfeiffer was calling out Murphy.
No. I want to get I want to show her temperament beforehand, because she was saying some more mess. She was interrupting me.
I gotta find that one.
She was interrupting me just constantly. You know, like I said, and she'll say, well, they give points. No, she does. That has been their tactic. And that was the tactic that they used when I was chairing. I was told about, and I did address it last year. What did I'm saying? I'm sorry, everybody. It's so much to unpack. But while we doing that, I want you to do me a put up while I'm looking for that one, Mickey. No, she gets upset. Her and Councilman Mays will never get along. I mean, it's going to take an act of God, a miracle. It's going to take Moses to part the Red Sea again. I mean, I just don't see it. I mean, it's just not going to happen. So to have some civility between them, I don't think it's going to happen. Mays and her will not get along. Now, in one of the times that she defended when Eva got up out her chair, put up the handkerchief head Negro one for me. She defended Eva for doing that. She defended her. I know you got the handkerchief head Negro where she said it was okay. It should be up a little bit.
I'm looking. Okay, I just got the one with Mays, and okay, let me see. It should be this one.
And this one is it's a posting which has got red at the bottom.
No, that's just it said it's a posting.
Yep, it's just a post where she's talking. She made a Facebook post. So
hold up, is it this one? Oh, hold on, is it about the gaslighting one?
Yeah, let me see. It's words.
Yeah, it's a gaslighting.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're working out the kinks, man. We're working out the kinks.
We're working it out.
This one right here, right?
Right. Yeah. So when Eva Worthing stood up not once on 5-3 and then on 7-19, she made a post. Flint's second ward, which is Liddell Lewis. She was talking with Tracy Withy, who is a known racist. Why is she friends with all these racist people? I mean, they talk about Black people. They talk about Black people hair, Black people's face, how they look. And she communicates with them. She's having a whole conversation. Flint's second ward, Tracy Withy, always. Now she's speaking to Eva Worthing standing up over me, not once, but twice. Always, then gaslights and makes it a racial issue when it's not. Point is, she continued to break the rules by unlawfully taking the floor when she was taking the floor, then was pointing towards Worthing, saying, "Today isn't your day." Totally out of order. And that could be interpreted as a threat. Then Eva stood up, which was out of order, and began going back and forth with Burns. If calling a fair game makes me a handkerchief head, I will wear it with pride. Okay, so she's defending this woman getting up out her chair. Actually, if she was paying attention to me, I had the floor. Eva had took the floor from me, but she'll do anything to protect Eva. I had the floor. I had it. And then she goes on there with a known racist, Tracy Withy White or whoever he is. And all his comments are just so derogatory and racially charged. And she's communicating, defending Eva and her response. I stayed in my seat. She got up. And she still wants to say, I threatened her. and it could be interpreted. Now she just stood up, stumped her feet, said, "Come over here," and going her head back and forth. But I'm the threat while I'm sitting. I was the threat according to Liddell Lewis, but I was sitting. No, no. When we have people who will race bait, some things are real and some things aren't. She's very clever at it. When people talk about the monkey in the room or the gorilla in the room and the elephant in the room, we have, it's like a semi truck Mac 10 in the room with all the issues. So if you can put up the definition, oh yeah,
I got you.
Next. Not that one. I'm gonna put the definition of elephant in the room and gorilla in the room, because these are real terms.
I got you right there. Here we go. This is the elephant.
Elephant in the room, phrase of elephant, a major problem or controversial issue that is obviously present but avoided as a subject for discussion because it is more comfortable to do so. They have steadfastly ignored the elephant in the room, the ever-growing debt burden on graduates. That's a sample how it's put in a sentence. Our ever-growing problem is that $50,000 check, that $72 million tax abatement she voted on and was asked to not vote on, that $1,500 check that she received. She is chairing the meetings. How can we let somebody lead our meetings that every meeting has turned into chaos? She will point of order you to death. When I'm talking request for information, and she does it. It's on the videos. But she'll come spin it and do a whole different narrative and not tell the truth. Let's put up the gorilla in the room because it's a term too.
Bam.
What does gorilla in the room mean? Gorilla in the room means a problem or difficult issue that is very, very obvious, but is ignored for the convenience or comfort of those involved. I've always said we have to have team building. We have to have the uncomfortable conversations. I have stated that. I have not changed. We needed to have the uncomfortable conversations, which some refer to as elephant in the room or the gorilla in the room. When Councilman Pfeiffer stated, we need to talk about the monkey and Councilman May said, point of order. You mean elephant in the room? He says, yes, the elephant in the room. He was redirected. Not one person in the audience on the council, except for her. He didn't say, Liddell Lewis, you're the monkey in the room. Liddell Lewis, you're a monkey. He didn't say that. And if he had said, despite the fact I don't like her, I would have checked him. I would have most certainly checked him. But when you know what those other terms are and the massive problems that we're having, it is some big problems, very big. So when we're in the meeting and she's changing this narrative, put the purple one up for me, please.
Hold on 1 second. I got you. Put it together for you. Oh, gotta come out of it. Talk about this one right here, right?
The purple ones, yeah.
This one?
Yeah. So during the meeting, I had several residents say she posted this during the meeting. And she put, according to the 8th Ward, there's a monkey in the room. So she took this, she saw a window of opportunity, and she ran with it. So this was her first posting. According to the 8th Ward, there's a monkey in the room. Councilman Mays, who at that point was not even dealing with Councilman Pfeiffer, no secret, we don't script this. Those two were not talking to each other. So it was according to the 8th Ward, there's a monkey in the room. That's what she posted while we were in the meeting. And I had leaned over and talked to Ms. Winfrey Carter. I said, she posted this during the meeting right now? And I showed that to her. So the next thing we hear, can you put up the Mid-Michigan Now? She's doing a press conference. Now she's stating he referred to her as the monkey in the room. She's saying he referred to her. He didn't refer to her. He was quickly monkey element, or some people say the monkey on the back with, and we got some issues. We discussed it. Did I have a personal conversation with Council Pfeiffer? Yes. Do I believe he said it to come after or to call Councilwoman Lewis a monkey? I absolutely do not. Not anybody in that room felt that at that time. Well, she did when she posted. She saw a window of opportunity to flip the script and to race bait and further divide. So Flint councilman under fire for alleged racial insensitive remark towards colleague. He did not say, Liddell, you the monkey. You heard it in the video, or you're the monkey. That didn't happen. So first she said, she changed it. First it was, there's a monkey in the room. Then she decided to pull it closer, saw a window of opportunity, race bait the community that's already divided. And she's mad because this man knows she's got this $50,000 check that she want to get from ARPA, $1,500 that she's trying to get. And she states that he called her a monkey. And she looked just pitiful at that press conference. She looked just pitiful. But tell everybody the truth. Tell everybody how you go into meetings and you make sure you warn your council people. That day when I went and showed Doug the receipt that he requested, as soon as I walked around, Eva Worthing said, she hit Doug. She hit Doug. She hit Doug. And I told her, you seriously have a problem and you're a liar. She hit Doug. I mean, out her mouth. Pfeiffer standing next to her, he said, that was the final straw when she said that. You didn't hit him. We're all looking out there. So Eva tells a lie, and Liddell's still warning me. I'm worried about where I'm at in the council chambers. Just silliness. So she can't chair because she's too focused on the wrong things. So Pfeiffer says, your hate towards your colleagues. She absolutely has a hatred. She has a hate so strong that she lied and said Councilman Mays called her a mother effing B. He did not. I discussed it in council chamber several times. Ask her, did he say it? Because I did several times on the record. He didn't call her one. She told a lie. Now she's race baiting. She changed not once but twice, or she didn't change. She didn't put in for Cyrus Park to get $50,000. That's her nonprofit originated in August. She's trying to say that nonprofit was originated in 2019. Oh no, the paperwork shows August 8th, 2021. That was what primary when we had an election, she originated it. So when we talk about, is she truthful? Absolutely not. The $1,500 check from Ashley Capital that Pfeiffer asked her to not vote on. He asked her to refrain from voting along with Councilman Murphy, and he would vote on it if they didn't. She said she was voting. She lied and said that you couldn't paint the streets with Black Lives Matter mural because the MDOT said it was dangerous. That was a lie. MDOT issued a statement. MDOT stated they showed the artist how to do it, what type of paint. I had Joe Scapani on my show. He cleared that up. MDOT told him it actually slows down when you have murals. She was chairing that meeting and told a whole made up lie that you cannot have. It's not safe. It causes more accidents. Not true. MDOT gave a clear statement. So we cannot have someone leading the city council who is taking money. She wouldn't refrain from voting on the $72 million tax abatement with Ashley Capital. And she keeps over explaining, well, the question was, how did they know about you needed money or you for your organization? Well, I took a long ride down there and I mentioned to them that I had a nonprofit. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So when we talk about our problems, I don't want people to be so quick to condemn Councilman Pfeiffer because I'm not. He is actually one of the councilmen, him and I, if it's an issue, him and I generally line up. If it's on police or the law, we generally line up with his public safety. He has never been rude or disrespectful towards me. I've never heard him say anything outlandish. It was a lady came in there upset with the city because she had 2 flats because of a pothole, I believe, on Welch. He pulled out his checkbook and paid for her to get her new, he told he would give her two new tires. He didn't have to do that. He does a lot of things in signs when he talks. You had her looking for a window of opportunity to take his words and say he called her a monkey. Her first statement was he said it was a monkey in the room. Then she did a press conference and said it's a hostile work environment. No, you make it. That same day she walked behind Councilman Mays and bumped his chair. She had about this much room. She got one behind his chair and like nudged the chair, and he immediately said, point of order. She nudged my chair and he was upset. He should. You knew you could. It's another, she wouldn't even go around that way. She did that out of anger and nothing was done to her. He brought it up. He asked to file a police report. She walked behind him and nudged his chair. It was about this much room. There wasn't enough room for her to be doing that. And so when she talks about she creates a hostile work environment, she waits 2, 3, 4 times. And sometimes she don't even acknowledge when he's talking or when I'm talking. And that's what she does. She's not fair. She's not impartial. But put up the pictures of my daughter, please. And we're going to close out. If anybody's children were ever called a monkey or any kind of name, I'm going to be the first, whether I like you or not, to defend. Children have nothing to do with these nasty politics. They don't. But when you comment and you don't have any empathy for anything, that's beyond disappointing to me. That shows and speaks to your character and lack of integrity. Mickey, can you put up those pictures? Are you unmuted and you may be doing a little bit of something else?
Got you. I was going to put it on right now.
So this is where this person that she communicates with. But mom and dad, even my monkey mother-in-law agrees with her boyfriend, Councilman Dennis Pfeiffer. Now, I don't know when they actually got together and started funking, but her polyamory boyfriend, Dentures, calls her my pumpkin monkey. Thanks, Councilman Dennis Pfeiffer. This is my daughter. Liddell converses and show the one to show she communicates and she's friends. She's been doing this for over a year.
I got you. Hold on 1 second.
So when you talk about, and she didn't condemn this person. She didn't condemn this person. This woman is a terrible, psychotic person who puts this, and she uses aliases. So this shows where she didn't share. She shared this woman's post and then made a whole post. This is what council has been reduced to. It's a game. Eric May said, let's beat them at their own game. No, he didn't, as he invites Tonya Burns to break quorum. Didn't break quorum, so she's inciting and lying is what she's doing. The lives of the residents is not a game. Meanwhile, while they are playing the games, no business was handled. We didn't even make it past public speaking, agenda change. Why? Because you can't chair. You're a terrible chair. Terrible chair. And so down at the bottom, it's got the girl's name, Linda Pendleton. And she's sharing her stuff. She shares it all the time, comments, make little laughs, and says stuff. So she has a relationship with this woman. So I put it up to show. She gets other people to do her dirty work so she can keep her hands clean. She didn't defend, she didn't condemn or denounce her. And she tries to play the victim. It's a hostile work environment. It's hostile because you're the hostile person. We needed to remove the hostile person from the hostile environment. She's the hostile person. She's aggressive. She's nasty. She's divisive. And she supports racist people. Time after time. Tracy Whitney, this crazy lunatic Linda Pendleton. She supports this nonsense. So I don't feel sorry for Liddell Lewis. We cannot move forward with leadership like that. She's taking checks, bribes. She put in for Cyrus Park twice, $50,000. Took the name off to be clever, but you're going to do the old switcheroo. She took $1,500. She needs to resign. So when you're calling her out, absolutely, she's going to be angry because what she has to do is stand in that mess she created. Only people support her is white racists. The racist rhetoric that she'll click on and like and spread it and share it. Shame on her. If her child had been mentioned, even though I don't like her, you don't bring children into this. Not at any point, if they're children or adults or minors, you don't do it. You don't do it. So when we talk about, Councilman Pfeiffer, Councilman Mays came back. We handled that. She took this and was gaslighting this community. She decided to see, she saw a window of opportunity, and she decided to gaslight our community. That was wrong. That's not what leadership is about. She's affecting this man. He's getting death threats. He's got people coming after him. He didn't say you a monkey. She didn't change her monkey story twice from the time she was in council to the time she did her press conference. Changed it twice. Why? Because that's what liars do. They change their stories. They switch them up. And she switched her story up. What about the damage she's done? Sometimes you can be labeled something and never goes away. Just like if someone says you messed with children or you're a child sexual predator, that doesn't go away. You're labeled a racist. It's hard to get that to go away. She is wrong for that. We were handling that and we discussed it. But her hatred is what supersedes everything else. That whole meeting was just out of control. We had been in that meeting and we had been there and nothing was being done because she didn't know the rules. She gets mad because Mays would have to correct her because some of the rules don't even make sense. She got mad because Councilman Pfeiffer was correcting her on the rules. She was angry. She was angry. I'm sorry. I don't get up off of here. But be careful when you're so quick to judge. She's mad because we're calling her out. The non-corrupt ones are calling her out saying, you know what? You took that, you put in twice that $50,000 for ARPA. You took that $1,500 check. Yet Gina Luster said that the event that she claims that was given at Max Brandon Park, she charged. It was supposed to be a free event. She was charging $5 to a free event that she claims Ashley Capital gave her the money for. So I'm tired of it. So I hate that we have to discuss this stuff, but when you unjustly accuse someone of something, Dennis Pfeiffer has been a friend to me, and he has been fair to the council. Those rules are not meant to be a stickler. Those rules are a guideline. It's the same thing that when we talk about the Bible, people have different interpretations. You don't have to be to the letter of the rule. Let the meeting flow, because that's how we get business taken care of. City council had not taken care of any business. I called a special meeting on that Monday. I asked Councilman Mays would he sign on to the meeting with me so that we can finish the 18 resolutions that needed to be complete. Because underneath her leadership, we were not capable of finishing our agendas. And when we removed her from chairing the meeting, we got the business done. We got the business done this past Monday. We got the business done this past Wednesday. And what was the difference? She was not chairing. She can't be impartial. She doesn't know how to do that. The difference, why we got the business done, we were all focused. 5 people voted to remove her as chair. Judy Priestley, Jerry Winfrey Carter, Dennis Pfeiffer, and Eric Mays, and myself. 5 people said, you know what? Put the business first. It's time to take care of the 18 resolutions and whatever agendas we have, because the residents deserve for us to handle the business. We handled all the business that hadn't been handled in over 2 weeks. We stayed and finished it on Monday. And then we finished up and we got caught up on Wednesday. The difference is she was not chairing. She lacks the skill set. She doesn't have the capability. She doesn't have the temperament to chair. Say it again. She lacks the skill set. She lacks fairness. She doesn't have the temperament or the skill set to chair. And you can't chair if you are vindictive. You can't do it. I want everybody, I'm going to close with this. Though that ARPA money, y'all better watch it because we fighting like hell. When you got council people putting in for it, that money may not reach the council people. The lawsuit that me and Councilman Mays put in was to make sure this 12-person ARPA committee, that those funds go through them. And let me tell you what we're finding out. They mentioned at the last meeting that Liddell Lewis, she put in for a second one, that she didn't put in the application. When she didn't put in the application, how she get approved for ARPA funds? And if we open it back up, well, she took it off and we opened it back up, then we got to open it up for everybody. Let's make it fair play. Gotta make it fair play. So what we fight for, some fights are worth the fight. So make sure when you're saying I'm tired of council fighting, make sure you check to make sure what are they fighting for. Because right now, them ARPA funds is hitting the hands of nonprofits. It was 3 of them. 150,000 didn't even have a name on it to be determined. How we gonna approve 50,000 for groups that we don't even have a name? You gotta have a name. It's in the charter. Matter of fact, you can't have on it more than one name. So we did subpoena. 5 of us had the courage to vote the subpoena. Judy Priestley did. Councilman, let me see, because Quincy Murphy voted for the subpoena. Quincy Murphy voted for the subpoena. Eric Mays, Jerry Winfrey Carter, myself, Dennis Pfeiffer, and Judy. 6 of us voted to have a subpoena. The only 2 no votes, I believe, was Candace Mushat and Liddell Lewis voted no to have a subpoena. I want to see the actual applications because we need to be transparent. I want to see the application where they put them into the computer. And so we subpoenaed to get all of those records. So that is what we're fighting for. How the 12-person ARPA committee, and they're illegal ARPA committee as far as I'm concerned. How are they going to approve an application and there is no application? And there's no name who you're giving the $50,000 to. How can you do that? That's shady as it gets. Shady. So I want everyone to enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Keep us in prayer. Come and speak your peace. But I'm not going to let anybody run me over. I didn't get this far and this old to let somebody run me. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. 5 of my colleagues voted to do the right thing. And 6 of them with the subpoena. And I'm proud of them. I'm proud of them. I would like to see all 9 of us voting to make sure we're being transparent to the public and that we're abiding by that charter. But right now, it's not happening. So I want to have everybody say, again, I want y'all to have a wonderful Sunday. Mickey, where you at? Anything you want to wrap up with?
No, just to tell the people on YouTube, please like the video and subscribe to the YouTube channel.
Okay, so if you're on there, subscribe to the YouTube channel. I want you to please click like and share. So if you want to know the truth, and listen, I had to cut it down. I got most stuff I could have put up. So we're going to have a part 2 to this. We're going to have a part 2 because there's some more stuff we got to cover. I want to keep everybody informed because we have a meeting tomorrow. That to be determined for $50,000. I believe that's going to be on the agenda tomorrow, unless they're going to pull it back. And it's 3 of them, 3 organizations. And I'm going to tell you before I get off, we had on them ARPA funds, organizations put in for $150,000. Somewhere along the process, they gave them $225,000. How you give them an extra $75,000? We had an organization who asked for $25,000. Someone approved them for $50,000. We have a responsibility to make sure we're keeping track and being transparent. So those are the records that we have approved. Where are they giving an extra $25,000, an extra $75,000? Who approved it? Who approved it? So that's what we're getting to the bottom of. And we cannot get to the bottom of that when the vice president of the Flint City Council voted no to get the records. Let me say that again. The vice president of the Flint City Council, we don't have a president, voted no to get those documents. She's not looking for transparency and truth. She voted no. So you better watch the people who vote no. You got to watch them. She voted no so that we could not get them. She didn't want us to. 6 of us had the courage to say, you know what? We're going to do better. And Councilwoman Judy Priestley, thank you. Thank you for being transparent and saying, hey, this administration has been keeping us in the dark, and saying that they were secretive and that you didn't know on the ad hoc committee what was going on. I appreciate you being transparent. I want everybody to have a good evening. Mickey, what you say, click like and subscribe to your YouTube channel. Mickey, thank you for this evening and your time. I know you have a family. I appreciate it to get this message out there. And if anybody out here, call me if you got questions. We can talk about it. I want everyone to enjoy the rest of your Sunday. If you want to speak out tomorrow, we have a council meeting. Special affairs begins at 4:30. And Liddell Lewis will be chairing special affairs along with the council meeting. But she voted no for us to receive the documents for transparency to see who put in and how they getting $75,000, $50,000, an extra $25,000. She voted no. Y'all have a good evening. Mickey, sign off.
Peace.